Hey, it's Michael Douglas. Welcome back to another episode of Dr. Pundit, where we talk about music, not medicine. And this is another line items where I want to talk about three guitarists, in my opinion, who changed the instrument for the better. Of course, Jimi Hendrix is one of those, and we'll just get right to him. You know, every industry has its handful of people who have completely reinvented it. And Henry Ford, the automobile industry, Steve Jobs in the tech game, Joseph Souter in the airline business. Every field has its innovators, and those innovators created the ground on which the current version of their respective industry stands. And this is applicable to the music industry as well, and the guitarists who helped develop it. What kind of music podcast or YouTube channel would be remiss in its duties if they didn't mention Jimi Hendrix on this list? I mean, his impact on the instrument is truly insurmountable and is beyond words. So a better way to capture how influential Hendrix was is to cite who he influenced, the guitarists he influenced: Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eric Clapton, Eddie Van Halen, Jeff Beck, Prince, Slash. I could go on and on, but you get the picture. In other words, contemporary rock and roll would sound completely different if Jimi Hendrix never picked up a guitar. The track Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix. Next is Les Paul, a name that is probably not familiar to anybody born after, I don't know, 1980 perhaps. In terms of those who are real guitar fans, guitar buffs, music fans, music purists, music pundits. It's somebody I've heard of, but and I knew he had an association with the electric guitar, but I didn't know much more beyond that. Les Paul didn't just pioneer the guitar through his music, but also through his inventions. Particularly, Paul was one of the premier inventors of the solid body electric guitar. His original model, simply called the Log, would go on to be the inspiration for one of the most famous guitars of all time, the Gibson Les Paul. If not for Les Paul, it's unclear what type of electric guitars guitarists would have played at the height of rock and roll and what they would be playing now. Les Paul knew a need needed to be filled, hence he went on to create one of the most groundbreaking guitars of all time. And here he is with his frequent musical vocalist collaborator, Mary Ford, from 1951, in a track called How High the Moon. Les Paul and Mary Ford from 74 years ago in a track called How High the Moon. Finally, many of you may not know who Joseph Kokuku is, but you likely won't forget him after learning about his contributions as a guitarist and a creator. In short, Kokuku is credited with perfecting and popularizing the slide guitar method, a method particularly popular in blues and country. This creative technique would not only lead to groundbreaking sounds in different genres, but also the creation of the steel guitar and the pedal steel guitar. Kokuku's method would basically rub off on the likes of blues legends Sylvester Weaver, a big blues guitarist, and Elmore James. Now, here's a little snippet from a BBC presentation about Kikuku and his discovery.
Wanakinilani Arshembo, and my great uncle is Joseph Kikuku, the inventor of the Hawaiian steel guitar. When Joseph was 11 years old, he happened to be walking down a railroad track with his guitar, and he picked up a metal bolt, and he made his way down the tracks, and at some point the bolt hit the strings of the guitar, and it made the sound that caught his ear.
Following his accidental discovery, Joseph Kikuku spent hours in the metal shop, a Kamehameha school, perfecting a slide. Adding steel strings to his guitar and raising them from the fretboard, he created an instrument that would travel the world.
So basically in that clip, descendants of Kikuku explain how he invented the steel guitar in the late 19th century. So, very interesting, a BBC special from about 7 years ago on that. So, in my humble opinion, two other guitarists and Jimi Hendrix, but each is very powerful in the influence on guitar playing and guitar as part of contributing to the overall evolution of music. And each of these is worth checking out. So there you have it. I'm Michael Douglas. If you like what you see here on the channel, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. And as the late, great Barry White always used to say, let the music play. And I'll see you on the next episode.